Probably the most contentious video I ever made was Art is Objective and I Don't Care. And this might surprise you to hear, but after rewatching it, there's nothing I say in that video that I currently disagree with. The biggest issue with that video are that I don't feel like I fully got my point across, and that the video was intended to be watched before What My Scores Mean video, a video that is now obsolete. This might be a cliche, but let's start by defining art. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, art is the conscious use of skill and creative imagination. An important note about art is that there's not a degree of skill or quality required for something to be art. Any intentional creative expression constitutes art. Painting, sculpting, drawing, music, dance, cinema, video games, anime. If I gather a group of people and shit on your doorstep to express my displeasure with you, that's performance art. Really shitty performance art, but performance art nonetheless. Regardless of the kind of art being made, there are concrete, objective qualities to it. Paintings have color, sculptures have shape, music has pitch, anime has motion, your doorstep has shit on it, etc. Because art requires intention and expression, any unintentional or contradictory qualities of the art that work against the intention or expression can be viewed as mistakes. Paint can smudge, sculptures can break, singers can sing off key, hair can be left in anime frames. Because art has these objective qualities and mistakes can be made, art can be evaluated by the level of craftsmanship contributing to it. In other words, art is objective and can be discussed objectively. I have once seen an argument that there's no level of quality in art, but that denies the existence of skill and expertise. If you draw a random stick figure, there's no real argument that it has the same level of skill and craftsmanship as the Mona Lisa. Perception of the objective qualities of a work of art can and often is poisoned by the observer's values, biases, thoughts, and feelings. And just as the artist can make a mistake, so too can the observer. Each individual who views art may have their own interpretation, thoughts, and feelings, and can fail to notice details in the work or read into the intention or expression in a way the artist didn't intend. And when trying to evaluate the objective qualities of a work, may value some aspects of the work over others, tainting their perception of the art in a positive or negative light. Art may be objective, but it is most often viewed subjectively, and it can then be said that art is both objective and subjective and can be evaluated in both ways. While there is value in trying to view art objectively, either to better yourself as an artist or to recognize the skill and craftsmanship used in its creation, the majority of people will find little value in that, and will instead choose to view art purely through their own subjective perspective. And there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, because of that, although I'm more willing to acknowledge the objective qualities of art, and those qualities will inevitably color my perception of it, I instead choose to score art purely based on my own subjective feelings on it. Furthermore, just because a work may be created with a high degree of skill and expertise, few mistakes, doesn't mean my feelings have to reflect that. Or, just because art may be objectively good, doesn't mean I have to like it. In fact, nobody is required to enjoy an objectively good, well-crafted work of art, and neither are they obligated to disavow a poorly crafted, objectively bad work of art. Popularity has no bearing on either the objective quality, nor does it have a bearing on the public or my own personal reception of the art. For those reasons, the system I use to score anime on a 1 to 10 scale is independent of the anime's quality, historical value, or popularity. It is purely subjective and based solely on my own values, biases, thoughts, and feelings. It's an attempt to quantify an emotion. Now that I have explained the philosophy behind my scores, it's time to explain the feeling they represent. 1 out of 10 is reserved only for the worst of the worst. In my rating system, an anime needs to earn its way both up and down the scoreboard, and a 1 is an anime that has earned its way all the way to the bottom of the barrel and kept digging. It's an anime that is truly traumatizing and has damaged the way I view a genre, trope, or archetype. Often the mere thought or mention of this anime will set me off on an angry rant. This score is the opposite of a 10. 2 out of 10 is an anime I genuinely hate. Watching this anime is pure misery, a torture I have trapped myself in. It likely has very few, if any, redeeming qualities, and I'm unlikely to enjoy any appreciable aspect of it. Often thinking about this anime will piss me off, though I'm less likely to go off on a tangent about it unless prompted. This score is the opposite of a 9. 3 out of 10 is an anime I dislike. It's not just an anime I didn't like or don't care for, but a series I genuinely hold in contempt. I anti-like it. My feelings towards this anime are almost purely negative, but I don't hold such vitriolic hatred towards it that I can score it any lower. It's an anime that is generally unpleasant to watch. Thinking about this anime will lead to a feeling of revulsion or dismissal. This is the opposite of both an 8 and a 7 depending on how strongly I dislike it. 4 out of 10 is an anime I have primarily negative feelings about, but don't feel very strongly about. I have a general aversion to watching it, but doesn't really cause me emotional pain. This is most common negative score and is most often awarded for being boring. In fact, if you ever see me give something a 4 out of 10 with no real explanation, just assume it was boring but inoffensive. This is the opposite of a 6. 5 out of 10 is the most important score I can give. I try to go into every anime with no judgment and an open mind. A 5 reflects that there are no strong positive or negative feelings towards the anime. It is a rating reflecting neutrality and indifference. Every anime, regardless of my prior experience with the franchise, its popularity, or its historical significance, starts as a 5. Every anime I haven't seen is effectively a 5 in my mind until I watch it. It is from a 5 that an anime must earn a higher, more positive score or a lower, more negative score. An anime that has earned a 5 after I watched it very likely left little impression on me, and I have no strong feelings about it. It was likely pretty forgettable, inoffensive, but unremarkable. It earned my apathy, in other words. I'll often describe an anime like this as being okay or fine. 6 out of 10 is the first positive rating. This is an anime where my general feelings towards it are positive, but it's likely being held back by some aspect of it. This could be an anime that I almost like, or like some aspect of, or an anime that I barely like. If you've seen my What My Scores Mean video, I talk about low, solid, and high 7s, and in Wadawa number 11, I talk about how my rating system changed. Basically, low 7s became 6s, and therefore 6 can also be seen as a 7 rounded down. Regardless, it's a positive score given to an anime I don't have strong feelings about. This score is the opposite of a 4. 7 out of 10 is a series I conclusively like. There are probably aspects where the anime is lacking or that it handled poorly, but the majority of the watching experience is enjoyable, and what complaints I have are likely overshadowed by my compliments. It consistently holds my attention and keeps me interested. 7s are made out of what would have once constituted a solid 7. This is one of the opposites of a 3. 8 out of 10 is an anime I strongly like. Parts of it I probably loved, and the majority of it is an enjoyable experience. This is an anime that likely has at least one great moment per episode with almost no weak episodes. In fact, great is the word that comes to mind when I think about it. High 7s from my old video have now been changed to 8s, so an 8 could also be considered a 7 rounded up. Regardless, an 8 out of 10 is probably a contender for my top anime of the year it was released. When I talk about an anime having potential to be great, an 8 represents the greatness I'm talking about. This score is the other opposite to a 3. 9 out of 10 is probably the highest score most anime can hope for. This is a series I genuinely love. Almost every moment is an enjoyable experience, like I'm strapped into a roller coaster of positivity. What few flaws there are completely dwarfed by everything the anime does right. I feel joy and jubilance just thinking about this anime. In my old scores video, I talked about low, solid, and high 9s, although not all 9s are created equal, I'll no longer differentiate between them in videos. Still though, a 9 is likely my favorite anime for the year it was released, and in the upper echelons might be one of my favorite anime of all time. One thing that's worth noting about a 9, however, is that a 9 is not almost a 10. There is no such thing as being almost a 10. You either are a 10 or you aren't. This score is the opposite of a 2. 10 out of 10 is the final score. This is an anime I adore. It brings forth an overwhelming explosion of positive emotions. An anime where every moment is enjoyable, every moment speaks to me, every moment is perfect, subjectively. A 10 is a score that represents a pure feeling. When I watch it a 10 out of 10, there's no debate on what score to give because I know it when I see it. This is why an anime can't be almost a 10, because you can't even really earn a 10. An anime I give a 10 is a 10 from the moment I hit play to the moment it ends. This is unquestionably one of my favorite anime of all time and absolutely the best anime from the year it came out. This score is, of course, the opposite of a 1. I think it's worth noting that sometimes an anime is given a more middling score because I feel conflicted about it, or half of it was significantly more enjoyable than the other half. This middling score will often range from a 5 to an 8. And with that, I feel like I've finally finished a video I should have made years ago. With this, I can turn over a new leaf and start releasing content with the knowledge that there exists an accurate and concise video that summarizes my philosophy on reviewing and the descriptions of all my scores. I also feel like I can adequately address the one valid criticism on the first video and can now more easily direct people to the points I was making. Hopefully this came across clear enough. I'm pretty sure I addressed everything in this video is pretty dense. So if it seems like I missed something, try rewatching the video to check. If you're sure I didn't address something or you have a question about something I said, feel free to comment and I'll see if I can clear it up. Please know, though, that I have absolutely no interest or intention of arguing with anybody. I didn't frame this or the last video as an argument or debate for a reason. So if you vehemently disagree with the channel philosophy, then we'll just have to agree to disagree. Anyway, my Twitch and Discord are in the description, and there are links to my VOD channels on my channel page. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see me actually use the scores. I've been Sacrobolic, your Envoy of Hope, this is Shouting Through the Chorus, and Art is Objective. And my scores don't care.